Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Way. This is my Photovoice project for DEH 326. My topic is Colorado's air quality and climate change. So my first few photos are on Colorado's clean air days, and these are just some photos that I've taken on some hikes that we've been on. The photo to the left was taken while we were hiking near the Puttur River, which is northwest of Fort Collins. The picture on the upper right is maroon Belgian aspen, which almost appears like it's on a green screen because it's so clear and beautiful. And then the lower right picture was actually taken on a clear day in Estes Park on a trail above the city. You can see that there's minimal pollution in the air. It was amazing to be able to breathe in some fresh air that day. Here we have some more examples of Colorado's beautiful clean air days. The picture on the upper left was taken on Mount Sopris in Carbondale, Colorado, at an Airbnb we actually stayed at in March of 2019. You can see the sunrise reflecting off of the mountain tops, which was breathtaking that morning. The photo down on the lower left is from a hike in Breckenridge, Colorado, and that was taken this summer. You can see how pretty the wildflowers are and those pretty blue skies. The photo up on the upper right is one that I took when we stayed at an Airbnb in Silverthorne, Colorado this October. We actually weren't getting any smoke this day from the fires that were happening, which was great. This picture does show Dillon Reservoir. And then down on the lower right is actually one of our favorite spots. This is Brainerd Lake. And this is where my husband actually proposed to me at. You can see how clear the skies are this day. Even though there were tons of wildfires going on in this state, it was completely clear this day, which was amazing. Colorado has seen record high temperatures this past summer with some of the worst wildfires in the state's history. This contributes to poor air quality. According to the CDC, air quality is one of the most significant areas of concern for health due to the ground level ozone smog, air pollution from dust storms and wildfires, and aeroallergens. The increase of the pollutants in the air also increase cardiovascular disease, respiratory disease, allergies, and asthma. Higher temperatures also raise the rates of infectious diseases such as the plague, hantavirus, pulmonary syndrome, and the occurrence of West Nile virus. Also, on the Healthy People 2020, they do mention that poor air quality is linked with premature death, cancer, and long-term damage to respiratory and cardiovascular systems. This is why people with pre-existing medical conditions like COPD and asthma suffer even worse from poor air quality compared to normal healthy individuals. The health effects that are present from the lack of precipitation, meaning no snow or minimal rain, droughts, severity of wildfire, record high temperatures, and increased pollutants should be a paramount public health concern. This photo was taken while I was driving on I-25. We were stopped in gridlock traffic, so I decided to snap a photo of one of the public health alerts that go into effect when there's high ozone alert days. This specific recommendation was to mow and refuel after 5 p.m. to try to help reduce the emissions that were being in the air. It's definitely not uncommon to see these signs throughout Colorado on major expressways such as I-25 and I-70, recommending carpooling, mowing the lawn, and refueling vehicles after 5 p.m. And again, this is just to try to help to reduce the amount of emissions being exposed to the air to help to reduce the poor air quality that can occur here in Colorado. This photo was used from the Centers of Science Education. And the title of the article was, "What is Air Quality?" And in this photo, you can see how pretty Colorado's clear view days are compared to the days that are poor air quality days. So the poor air quality days are known as the brown cloud. And you can see this in the bottom photo where the clear, good air quality days are the ones in the top photo. So the brown cloud, which shows poor air quality, is frequently caused by cold air coming down from the higher elevation mountains, which then traps in vehicle exhaust and pollutants near the surface. and this results in that hazy condition, and those are days that are very high in pollution that's occurring. I took this photo over the summer of these sunflower fields that used to be by our house in Brighton, Colorado. I always loved stopping to take photos of them because on normal sunny days, they'd be up looking towards the sky. They were absolutely beautiful. This particular day, we were experiencing a lot of smoke and haze from the Cameron Peak fires that were happening. So I stopped and took a photo just because they look super sad. It's almost like the sunflowers are depressed. From this photo, it almost made me think, man, it doesn't just affect us, but it also affects everything around us. Any living creature, you're talking plants, animals, anything past us is affected by the smog and the haze as well, which is very concerning to think that the smoke can inhibit the life of the sunflowers too. But this picture is pretty eye-opening to me to see the effects of global warming and climate change. This photo was actually taken shortly after the Cameron Peak fire began this summer. The sky was super gloomy when we went to Horsetooth Mountain open space for a hike. And although the fog was thicker, you could really smell the smoke. It almost smelled like someone had a really big bonfire going on. It really made it difficult to breathe even just on that hike. And again, I don't have any pre-existing conditions, but you could witness some of the effects of the wildfires that were happening, and they weren't even that close at this point. This photo was taken at Mount Princeton Hot Springs in Buena Vista, Colorado over Labor Day weekend. My parents were actually in town visiting from Michigan, and we had decided to take them to the hot springs. But as you can see, that's all smoke bellowing in from all of the surrounding forest fires that were occurring at the time. The East Troublesome Fire and the Cameron Peak Fire. My mom, who is overweight, actually was having a very difficult time with breathing because of the smoke. It did smell like a big bonfire going on, as you can imagine. These two photos were taken the same week that my parents were out visiting for Labor Day weekend. As you could see, the day prior was when we went to the hot springs and encountered all of the smoke in the mountains. The day before that, it had actually been 90 degrees for the 2 days prior to that in the mountains. And then when we woke up in the morning, it started to snow. We ended up getting 18 inches of snow in a matter of 24 hours. Although it was beautiful, it was easy to see that climate change may be a really big concern in Colorado, as it normally doesn't snow this early in the mountains. We did have hopes that maybe it'd put out the forest fires, but it did not. The photo to the left was taken in Breckenridge, Colorado. This was in the middle of October. The day before actually had some very clear skies, but as the sun was setting, smoke kind of started coming in through the city, and you could smell it coming in. It did reflect off of the sunset. Now the photo to the right was while we were coming back from Breckenridge. You could actually see some smoke coming from the mountains. This was most likely from the East Troublesome Fire. That following week is when the fire tripled in size in the matter of a night. What can we do to help with global warming on our part? So a few things that were noted in the climate change in Colorado is upgrade your lights to LED, insulate and seal air leaks, buy renewable power, wash your clothes in cold water, drive less, try to ride a bike or go on a walk to your places that you can go, and then you get exercise too. Use public transportation or carpool, switch to an electric car if feasible, limit the flight times, and then recycle. There have been numerous associations that have attempted to reduce global warming effects, but without proper leadership at the highest level, and that includes the presidential, changes won't occur. Therefore, it's incredibly important to educate all generations on the public health effects and consequences of global warming and poor air quality. The more people that understand the long-term effects, the better results we will get with climate change regulations. It's important to be involved if possible.